didn't get that, Arden. I don't know, that didn't come through.
Oh, really? God dang it, maybe I don't have your right number.
Maybe.
Wonder who I sent that to.
Maybe Ross ended up with it or something.
Maybe it was Ross.
Yeah.
I bet it was Ross's
Yeah.
number. If you see him, ask him if you got, ask him if you got a text from me. I bet that's what it was. I have your name on it, but I bet it's his phone now. I bet it's his phone. That's funny. But he thought, geez, should I answer this?
It's like, I'm done with that guy.
Yeah, he said, I don't have to talk to him anymore.
My phone says 7. So, time to start. So, call meeting order, but we're gonna start with something different tonight. It's not on the agenda, we're gonna start with pledge of allegiance. Before we roll call, so. We good for all of us? There we go, right? Alright, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright, we'll start with roll call.
Okay. Mayor Manning.
Here.
Branneman.
Here.
Keel.
Here.
Monahan.
Here.
Lanzer. Here. Jones.
Yeah, here.
And Nelson is going to be late.
Sounds good. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from 1/7/2020.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Alright, motion for minutes from 1/14/2020.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Abstain from Monahan, otherwise an aye from all. Any opposed? Alright, next we got bills submitted for payment.
So moved.
A motion to approve, Monahan,
Second.
Jones. Discussion.
I have one question, Craig. Did we have $1,000 worth of skid tire repaired, or did we buy?
It was set of tires for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
is it in the bills of throw it was repaired?
Yeah, no, I seen that too.
So I didn't know whether,
Yeah. That
that
was
was a lot of repair.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So no, it's set of tires.
We'll blame it on Karen.
Yeah, that's my bad. I'll take that.
Alright, any other questions? Now we'll vote. Monahan,
Yeah.
Jones,
Yes.
Brenneman,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
and Lanzer. Alright, time for any public input on any non-agenda items. I hear none. Alright, so we'll go to applications, hearing, and resolutions. We got a special event application for downtown Hartford. In advance, well planned out, and ready to go for when we get some stuff.
Great, so I realized as I was sitting here, usually I just come up and start talking, and I wasn't really sure, is there a protocol? Am I supposed to like introduce myself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna start that now. Now that we started doing the Pledge of Allegiance, everything's gonna go according to that.
So my name is Callie Tushin, and I am here on behalf of Downtown Hartford Incorporated. I'm actually not that organized, Mayor Manning. I just realized at the brewery we're already being booked out through May for musicians and events, and food trucks are reaching out to us to book for their summer, and I was like, if I'm gonna do this properly, then I need to get your permission first before I start booking things. So I'm asking, first of all, I do wanna thank you all for all of your support for last year's farmer's market. It was really I hear that it wasn't perceived this way, but for me, it was definitely a fly by the seat of my pants kind of event, and I was pulling it all together without a lot going on, and so I'm glad that you supported me figuring out what works, what doesn't work, and so as we move into this season, I'm gonna be a lot more organized and structured, and things are gonna go much better. I perceive that we will grow a lot this year, so my request is for your permission to again host the monthly farmers market out here on Main Avenue. It will be held the first Thursday, so that is a little different than last season. It will be the first Thursday of each month. It's only going to be 5 minutes this time. It looks like it's not going to really conflict with any holidays or anything like that. I think it'll go a lot better. It's right after school, and it won't really interfere too much into the school season, so hopefully we'll get a lot of support. It's going to be held again from 5 p.m. to 8:30. We may adjust that October date just because it gets dark at that point. So the dates are already on the application. The permission is from Modish, again, to South Bar to close Main Avenue, and then the barriers would be placed there as well as on the Main and First Avenue on both sides. So I think last year we kind of went down the alley. We don't need to do that. We'll just stay on Main for that stretch. And then, of course, I'm also asking for the permission for open container. So folks from the brewery or South Bar, if they want to mingle and go out onto the street and shop, then that's allowed. I think that's pretty much covers it. Did you guys have any questions in regards to the application?
I don't think we had one, did we have any issue that you would call anything with lawn? We didn't have to have no lawn, nothing
No.
last year, right?
Everyone behaved themselves for the most part, I think, so it went rather smoothly.
Craig, no problem from you guys' standpoint, getting the,
No, went smooth, so,
yeah.
and I think the
Thank you.
seniors were happy after we started moving down 2 weeks, so.
How many barriers did we buy last year?
What's that?
How many barriers?
10.
10 barriers?
Yep.
Do we need to buy any more?
It probably wouldn't hurt to pick up some more here this spring sometime, just especially for jamboree and stuff like that. They're just so much nicer, they don't blow around, they harder to move.
So you just made a comment, so is the reason why we're at Modish is because the senior citizens wanted access, is that why?
For bingo.
Yep.
Yeah, they do bingo?
No,
Mhm.
oh,
Every Thursday they do bingo.
If you recall, we can't mess with that.
So, again, please note that the street closure I'm asking for would start at 4, even though the event starts at 5, that way people have time to set up. And then it goes till 9, but people really tore down and broke things apart real quickly last time, so I think 9 is plenty of time.
Craig, you see an issue getting, because the city's gonna be involved with placing the barriers and whatnot. Is that time frame?
No, it wasn't a problem. The way we did is we brought them out, we only put so much water in them so that they can just spin them off the side by hand,
Sure.
but they don't blow, so that way when they were done with their event, they just pulled them back and next morning we grabbed them, so.
Sounds good.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'd make a motion to approve the application for the downtown farmer market from June through October. Did we pay the fee or no?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. And allow open container on the sidewalk during the said event.
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second. More discussion? Hearing none. Vote, Flanzer,
Yes.
Keel,
Yes.
Brennan,
Yep.
Jones,
Yes.
and Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, yes, thank you for doing that.
Yep.
All right, move over to reports. First report, got Chief coming up for the fire department.
Mayor, councilors, good evening. Recap of December, we had 27 total calls in December, 12 in Hartford. For the year 2019, we were paged out 316 times, actually had responses on those 316, 289 times, so about flat, maybe a couple calls over a year prior. Training wise, December, EMS trained on trauma and pediatric transport, fire trained on ice water rescue. In January, all members are training on CPR, along with operating our LifePak 15 and Lucas CPR compression device. In addition, we have some 24-hour refreshers for our EMTs going on in January. We have quite a few members attending those, so they'll actually get 24 hours of recertification training. For 2020, our officer corps, fairly close to the same. I'll be continuing as chief for another year. We have Adam Erickson and Matt Horn continuing in their role as first and second assistant fire, Connor Borthrams and Michelle Shoemaker in their roles as first and second assistant rescue. We have Donnie Rolfson, secretary, and Camille Nelson has taken over as treasurer.
Okay.
So, one change on our board of directors.
Nice. Good deal. Any major projects you're thinking of for 2020?
Nothing right now in the works, no. We're really talking as a board right now, kind of long-term planning again, what we need to do next in the future from an asset replacement plan, and trying to look out quite a few years and just working on planning again right now.
Sure. Good.
One of the things that we need to finish up, fire department has received all of their Knox box, lock boxes and keys right now. We're in the process of training with Knox on how to use them, all the data and record keeping. And hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'll be working with Teresa to get the letters out that we have all the boxes for use approved through Knox and that system set up and ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. That's good. When are you putting that in again?
Well, they're all received now, so we have to install them in our trucks hopefully over the next couple weeks. We have training with Knox on how to properly use and of course the data and record keeping part of it, and then we'll be able to roll that out from there.
Any other questions? All right. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, chief.
Alright. We've got Chamber and Economic Development report was provided by Jesse. You won't be here tonight. The only action item on there is to attend the Economic Advantage Summit down in Iowa. I didn't see, Teresa's got in her notes on there that Mid-American Energy will cover, what was it, $100 worth of the hotel stay. You can take the city vehicle down there. So it's really gonna have some meals and probably another, I think Teresa put in there around $30 to cover the rest of the hotel stay by yourself. So he's looking for a pretty cheap one to do, looking for approval to move forward on that.
Motion to approve.
Okay, got a motion by Brenneman, do we have a second?
I'll second
Discussion? We'll vote, Brenneman,
Yeah.
Jones?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yeah.
Keel?
Yes.
Lanzer?
it. Yes.
And Nelson?
Yes.
Any comment on Jesse's report? Okay, as we move to city engineer report, any high points you wanna touch on, and then we've got the action item.
Yeah, the only thing I was gonna point out is, I think last time I told you we were gonna bid 9th Street on February 7th, we moved up to February 5th at 2 o'clock. So if anybody had that on their calendar, I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. Other than that was the only thing I wanted to point out. We have an action item for the Mickelson Road project, which is a formality with the DNR people. Just there's a certificate of acceptance in your packet to formally accept that through kind of their process, I guess, to finalize their loan documents and stuff.
Yeah, it's got its own project number for them, it's kind of separate from our own acceptance of the
Yep.
project on there too, to wrap that up. So, looking for a motion to approve that.
I make a motion to approve the certificate of acceptance for the Mickelson Road project.
second.
Alright, discussion. None? Nelson?
Yes.
Lanzer?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Brenneman?
Yeah.
Jones?
Yep.
Meyer.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions for Mitch?
Where can we find the link to the actual construction documents? Is there a link?
I'd have to send that separately. I'm sure send that over to you if that was not good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mitch.
Yep.
Craig, we'll move over to your report.
Just a couple things that I was gonna touch up on, so the downtown lights down here, we had one of them, the base broke on it, and I looked it over, it doesn't look like it's been hit. Just, I don't know what happened to it, somebody swung on it, when it was cold, it busted, I took pictures of it and sent it back to the place we bought it from, and they're looking through it right now to see if they're in warranty or not. Meantime, I did take it over to Beaverbilt and got it welded back up. It's not the outside part, it's the base itself of the light pole. So it won't show or anything like that, but I'm working on trying to get that warranted and find out what happened with it or why it broke, but. So looking at that, I know, Jessica Evans called me here last week and wanted to talk about possibly having Sioux Valley come down and, turn off lights, whatever, and I explained to her that all the lights are hooked up together on one photo eye. And so we'd have to have them actually come down and individually unhook the lights if we're gonna do it, otherwise we'd end up shutting off from Second Street all the way down to past the salt bar, which you don't wanna have that part of area by the bank and the salt bar completely black for days, weeks, whatever, they, to check them out. But Sioux Valley is willing to, unhook the ones down here if we wanna do that sometime in the future, and then see what they're doing. Otherwise, like I said, we can always cover them individually and check to see if they're working or not. The one we did take down, that lights up in the shop, now the battery's dead, but I was telling Jessica it'd be nice to wait till either spring or sometime when we start getting some sunlight, because when you get all these cloudy days, they're not gonna get an accurate, information from them, so it's something we're working on. I guess that's something for you guys to think about if we wanna, down the road, next month later, whatever, if we wanna disconnect these ones down here, they'll probably have a small fee to it, disconnect them and reconnect them again. But that's something that I told my, before we got any further, like I was telling Jessica, that I wanna talk to you guys and see what you guys feel about it if we decide to unhook them lights downtown, so.
Is the issue with the solar lights that the big lights are on and it's triggering the photo eye to not come on for the solar
Yeah,
light?
the solar panel itself is on the, they got the little clear plastic dome, and the solar panel's right underneath that, and that also acts as a photo eye for the light. So it's seeing the light up above it all the time, so it's thinking it's daytime, and that's why they're not coming on. The company that made it, they realize that this is an issue. They're looking at maybe down the road putting photo eyes underneath of them so that they get blocked out from the other lights, but something that I'm kind of working on. And I kind of, prior to this, me and Jessica Evans are talking that we knew there might be an issue with them, but were they looking at them for actual light or for more decoration and stuff like that? So they put them in the space like they wanted them so that they'd be evenly spaced out, and we kind of figured there'd probably be some issues with that photo-wise, but. So we're still trying to figure out something with them, if there's anything else, and working with the company a little bit to try to see if there's any other options with them, or some other, maybe they might come up with a different light that actually has photo underneath it, so.
Sure.
But in the meantime, like I said, we can, once we get a couple of decent days, snow melts off, and that's another issue, they get snow on top of them and ice on top, and they kind of reflect the sun off too. And I don't know how you'd go about, I don't know if you dare put any chemical on them, you'd probably wreck the plastic covers. So it's one of those things, you just, Mother Nature pretty much is gonna take care of some of that stuff.
Sure.
But once we do get some sunny days, we can just go down there with the bucket, cover them up, make sure each light is working and stuff like that. Go from there with them, so. So something to kind of think about, like I said, if we wanna have Sioux Valley come, they said they would. I talked with Tom Siebert about it, and he said, yeah, they'd come down and unhook the ones we want unhooked and see if they, how they work then, but.
Do you think these solar lights would provide enough light, or is it gonna be just dimmer?
I think it's gonna be dim. I don't think your intersections aren't gonna be lit up the way you want them. So it'd be,
Less.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's one thing I just wanna touch up with you on. The other thing is, I know Teresa had it in her report too about that grant. She just wanted to see if there's any issues with that for the generator. So, we did get some prices on them. When I met with Mark on them, we did look at even putting something at the main lift station. And so we'd have generators for all three of them. The main one, there is a generator down there, but last spring, we did have it got a fuel leak on it, and I came down there and we had diesel fuel all over the floor in there and got it shut down, then wouldn't start again, and we were scrambling to keep basements from flooding, but we got it back up and running again. But it's one of those things that'd be nice to have a backup even there for that. And we're looking at maybe 20,000-30,000 for the two generators. It'd be a cheap backup to have, if we get the grant, to have that extra security down there, because that one goes down there, we're gonna be flooding a lot of basements in a quick hurry, so.
When's that grant due?
I think it's the end of March is when it's actually due. CCOG kind of wanted to have some information together by the end of this month, I think it was, or maybe it's the first of March, I'm not really sure which one.
Okay. I saw it in Teresa's report, I wondered if you needed a motion to move forward on that, or just,
I think she said
Just
just the
consensus.
consensus,
Just consensus.
you guys wanted her to move forward with it.
I think it's a grant.
'Cause
I'd
we
say
have-
go for it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And that's it, and I will be gone on Friday for that EMT refresher course too, so. Well, that's all I got in my report. I guess I got a couple of items.
You've got your public works assistant job description, and then approval to begin advertising for that position. So Teresa had mentioned to me that you kinda took what you had, cleaned it up a little bit
Yep,
on this job description.
added a few things in there, just make it more general, but it, you know, because it was before, you had to have CDL and class 2s or whatever, and then in pesticide, let's make it more open so that if there's other things that we have to have, it's in the job description, so.
Sure. And remind me, will this affect, this job description, does it affect, do we have some people under that exact title right now? Or will it affect-
I
does it
believe
affect-
Jesse would be under that same
Jesse's
title,
under
and
that
Terry
same
would be
title.
under it, but as a part-time, full-time.
Gotcha, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the job description.
Second.
Okay, discussion? And vote? Keel?
Yes.
Glanzer?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Monahan?
Yeah,
Jones?
Yep.
Martin?
make a motion to advertise the position.
Second.
Discussion. Brennan?
Yeah.
Jones?
Yep.
Monahan?
Yeah.
Nelson?
Yes.
Glanzer?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
All right, thanks.
Alright,
That's all I got.
that's good.
If somebody's got anything for me.
Just one thing that came out of our sports and rec meeting last week, they had, mentioned that the local softball teams aren't gonna be joining the Sioux Empire Fest, but softball association, are gonna be joining CESA. They're combining with some other local teams. And it sounds like our fields are gonna be really busy. And so I don't think they've shared that with you.
Nope.
So first thing I think of is, how do we keep those fields in shape? So, probably something that they should reach out to you about,
Okay.
which I think I mentioned.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's good to know. Like I said,
But,
we'll
we need to look at, how we, get all that work done, so to speak, and where bodies are allocated, if you need to sub any work out or let anything out for bid. I know it's been a discussion point in the past, and so maybe something that needs to be considered.
Okay.
moving into the season, because we certainly don't want, volunteers or not city employees probably responsible for the upkeep of those fields. If they're gonna be getting used, sounds like daily, pretty heavy,
Okay.
so.
A lot of it depends on if it's the time of day, if it's gonna be like the same as, and if there's 2 or 3 games a night on them or what, so, but that's something I'd be good to know, find out.
Yeah, it's, isn't it Hartford, Brandon
Harrisburg, I think maybe as well. It seemed like the perimeter of Sioux
Yeah, the
Falls.
perimeter towns are breaking away from the Sioux Falls and forming their own association, and
They said nothing's over by Minnesota.
yeah, that's,
I don't remember. that.
what was the ages, did they say? I don't think they said.
I don't remember them saying it was.
But all they said was, the fields are gonna be, they said they'll probably be booked solid
Okay.
to get all those games in. So,
I know Teresa's got a meeting with some folks from the Hartford area sports and rec. I don't remember exactly who, Matt Evans for sure, on the 28th at 3:30. So yeah, a week from now, that might, once whatever comes out of that might help move in the right direction to know like, hey, what's the scheduling gonna look like?
Okay.
So,
Blizzard didn't, in the wind, didn't bother our new backstops.
No, they all look good. I drove by and looked over there today again, so, yeah, I'm in there.
That's good. They look good for my house, but I don't have a
Yeah.
good view.
The freezing rain is what got us in the last couple of years, but then we're also beefed everything up a lot more too than it was, so. Good shape.
alright, anything else, Craig? Alright, sounds good. We'll move on to Karen's report. Thank you, Craig. Karen, any updates or high points on your report?
No, not really anything to add. Just as far as circulating petitions, that can start January 31st and have to be turned in no later than February 28th at 5 p.m. We'll have a position open in each ward. Other than that, nothing else.
It's a good update. Year-end reports coming along okay?
Yep. Yep, I finished all W-2s, W-4s, 1099s. Now I'm working on getting stuff started for the auditors. And that's been scheduled for the week of May 11th, so. Get stuff lined up for that. But yeah, year end went well.
Good. Alright, any questions for Karen?
Just an observation, so it looks like our, year-to-date, wasn't even year-to-date, month-to-date. Or is that year-to-date? It is year-to-date, isn't it?
That's year to date, yeah.
Yeah, that's year-to-date, so we're down a little bit on our revenue.
Mhm.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. Alright, Teresa's report's in our packet. Any comment or discussion on anything in there? Thank you, Karen.
Sure.
Thank you for yours. Alright, we got old business, discussion of possible park board committee. So, a little more development on this one since the last meeting and since last time we talked about this one. Jones and Keel and I went down to Hartford area sports and recs last meeting, within a week ago Sunday, and kind of talked about it with them a little bit, talked about what the vision could look like for a park board, and then just kind of help clarify a few things. Also got some feedback from Troy Larson, and I believe he was here at the last
Yeah.
meeting talking about that. But I was looking at, that, he's in favor of seeing something like this, but if he sees that park board in place, he really doesn't see the need to necessarily have that bike and rec trail committee. As we talked with Hartford area sports and rec, and we said, hey, what what was your mission? What was your original thing, you know? And, part of what they said is, well, we originally set up to help decide how to make things work specifically at the Swenson Sports Complex. And, not necessarily any of the other ball fields or parks or anything like that, but Swenson Sports Complex. And, we said, what if we had a park board, not necessarily even a park and rec board, just a park board. So it was put together, that met, let's say, once a month. And those positions would be, they're appointed positions approved by the council, and they make the capital recommendations for different parks in town and different trails in town. Helping us to make decisions on where we're gonna make improvements, where we're gonna spend money. Is it a baseball field, is it a softball field, is it a trail, is it a scoreboard, is it a what? And then we even said to that group, like, having a board that does it, that's maybe a little less biased sometimes from not just necessarily looking at soccer or baseball or whatever the flavor is of that time. Really just a board that's kind of making that overall, making those recommendations to the council on capital improvements for parks. Accepted really well by them. In fact, it almost felt a little bit like, okay, that's good. If somebody else wants to take care of that stuff, they are plenty busy with helping to do fundraisers and scheduling of, basically lining up things like this softball association type thing, being able to line up tournaments, line up a lot of those other things that are going on, and have a park board that's designed really to give direction to the council on what's the next capital improvement, what's the next thing we're gonna do, and why does that make the most sense for all of us. So that's where we're at with that. The more I look at it, the more I think that it takes away some of that piece, even if we were to hire a park and rec director at some point, that really that recreation director isn't distracted by, oh my gosh, we need another soccer field, or oh my gosh, we need to have this improved or have that improved, or we need more scoreboards, or we need whatever. Nope, that board helps decide that. That director could be focused in on scheduling and lining up things, kind of like sports and rec would be, where you're lining up all those things. So, wanted to have more discussion on that. It's not, I'm not saying it's urgent, it's just one of those things. If we're gonna move forward with it, one of these meetings, we're gonna have to move forward with it.
They did feel that the rec director position was helpful for them. They would like to see that position back. I think partially because of the overall scheduling of all the fields, that piece of it. And of course, we said we'd like to see recreation as a whole increase in town, which was what our intent with that position. We just need to move it that direction if we can. If we can find the right fit. But they would really like to see that position back. I mean, they were pretty strong on wanting that.
So I guess the way I'd see that now is probably less. I think last meeting that I wasn't at, some of what the council advice asked for is clear this up a little bit more. What would be the mission of that group? And after talking with them a little bit more, that's where I see that mission of that group being more of an advisory board for what do we need for parks, and what should be our next capital improvement out there, whether it's parks, bike trails, all of those things. I don't think it'd be an intensive process. You'd probably pull pools into there at some point if there was decisions to be made on that kind of thing, on more capital improvements for any of those quality of life type things too. But that way we don't put that burden on volunteer committees necessarily. It's more of a group that maybe meets once a month and is focused in solely on that.
How do you foresee it working, Jeremy, with conflict? Because we've had recommendations out there before that just got shot down in a ball of flame. So how do you see conflict with either a committee or a board making a recommendation to spend funds and then just literally having their legs taken out from underneath them, and the council saying, we're not gonna do that? Because of the two times I can think of, I don't think it was accepted well. So,
And I think it's fair to say those times that you're talking about, there was a definite disconnect between what the council thought was the most important money spent out there, and what they brought was probably.
so you think it's a personnel and communication issue? Or just a vision?
I think it's a vision difference. Yep. So my pie in the sky belief with this is if you find people from different areas, different walks of life, basically, who are interested in the greater park system, I think we're going to get more recommendations that are probably in line a little bit more with what our CIP is, and helping doing a little more planning for us, so that we're not off in the weeds on this, and then feeling like, gosh, we gotta turn down this volunteer committee because they wanna put up a batting cage, and we didn't know where that came from, so, we just turned it down.
Okay.
Longer range, you're thinking, you want somebody that's got almost a little more visionary, where do we wanna have this deal in 5 years?
Yeah. Won't
That's
that,
what I guess I thought.
won't that group help you budget every year too? I mean, once they have a budget, they'll try to align with that.
That'd be the direction we give them though. If they said, hey, we see this need in coming up, then yeah, we'd have to definitely have that.
Or vice versa.
Or yeah, what do you guys think of this? Start looking at this, and then, yeah.
It almost like they have their own CIP in a way, just, here's what we think, here's where we're gonna be short, years to come, here's what we recommend, just a little more of a structured approach to it that way.
Well, I know at the last meeting, Troy Larson spoke, and he spoke in favor of doing away with the nonprofit. And I would actually be opposed to that, because a nonprofit can do things that the city can't. So, but I get the impression from what you said, the Hartford, I don't even know what it's called now, Hartford Sports Complex or Sports Complex. They want to remain a 501
They do.
to do their thing.
Yeah.
So what would the vision be to take, because the pool committee's been disbanded. So the only one left is the downtown and the bike and rec. So would you rebrand? Would you rebrand the bike and rec to encompass the parks or DBA, whatever they call it?
So you have that 501.
So you have that status
Right.
that would stay with the board or the committee? Is that what you?
Even if Sports Rec is a nonprofit, they can apply their grants for the city.
They can umbrella too. Yeah.
Yeah, but if the goal is to encompass more than just the sports complex,
You can
Yeah.
just use
the
their.
whole park system, because now you're looking at frisbee golf, you're looking
Sure.
at all the parks,
Yeah.
you're looking at playground
Right.
equipment, you're looking at,
We don't necessarily have a group that's interested in that right now, but I wouldn't be opposed to seeing one come together that would be interested in helping doing the fundraising and the planning for something like that. But I really think when it comes to capital improvements and saying, hey, you know what, we need another park on such and such corner of town in the next 10 years. that's where the park board comes in. And if a group of citizens wanna get together and raise money for, you know, a nice place set, I think that's fantastic, but I don't think we wanna micromanage that. You
No,
know?
I just don't wanna see us walk away from all the nonprofits, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely be cheaper to keep those running than to
yeah.
reincarnate them in need.
Well, and I know when we were going after grants for the bike and rec trail, I mean, there was grants that they could go after that the city couldn't, so.
I think they could become almost, neutral. I mean, Troy, for instance, that group wouldn't need to meet unless something out of the park board came to fruition, like there's this grant.
They just have to have an annual meeting.
Yeah, exactly, I said that on one end, maybe, like it adds a bunch of extra burden to get a little bit of a cost associated with, you know, renewing that.
Yeah, Troy,
C3 status.
yeah.
And some-
Troy was more concerned about redundancy than we have just another layer. He was trying to stay away from that.
Yeah.
I mean, before we move forward with anything, I think what we would wanna do is have, if we like this format, is have Teresa go through the, for instance, that board format that she's got out there, and update it to take away some of the recreation pieces of it. If it's got anything about supervising an employee, you know, it's not really meant to do that under this new format. Get a little more clarity in there and have something in front of us.
Does this council see this board as being paid? I mean, how deep into the weeds do we wanna delve here?
I think I've been back and forth on that one, and I honestly feel like where I've landed on it now is that it's not a paid, that it's a board that's appointed, and yep, I don't think they're gonna be burdened to meet a lot, once a month, I think at the most.
I'm leaning that way as well. You look at the park and rec board, they're unpaid, the pool was unpaid.
Right.
You know, the sports complex, those folks are unpaid.
Bike trail, all that.
Yeah, and so I'm leaning that direction also.
And it's just a matter of finding the right people that have that, really that have that passion.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I would just as soon not see a restriction on there that they have to, that in the bylaws it says that they have to live within city limits. I think we would wanna take that into account. But I also don't think the paperwork should restrict us. I think we decide that as we appoint people. So, unless you got anything else, I think the direction I would give Teresa is to start to update what we've got out there with what I explained a little bit tonight,
Yep,
and have it ready for our next agenda.
I would say.
Any questions, discussions, concerns? Craig, Mitch?
I think it,
Jeremy, when you say hand it off to Teresa, are you talking about the format? Are you talking about all the format end of it, or are you talking about the mission end of it? Cause I'd be more concerned with the mission end of it. The, you know what I'm getting at?
Where it's laid out in there, this is the
Yeah.
mission.
This is what we're looking at achieving with this board. Because you can copy and paste the, you know, this stuff,
Details, yeah.
section 4, section 5, you can copy and paste that and change it to your needs.
Yep.
What I'm more concerned about is the vision, where section 4 and section 5 are taking us. What our expectations are.
I get what you're saying. Yep. And there's not necessarily a piece in there that talks about that. I mean, it may be in purpose right up there at the beginning, but it's established park and recreation board authorized, blah, 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 blah. pertaining to the care, regulation, and management of cities' public parks, I think that's where it needs to be updated. To cover what you're talking about.
That's what I'd like to see on paper is,
Yep, this vision.
just so when we approve this and people are appointed, everybody on this council knows what the mission goal is.
Yep.
Instead of what you think it is and what Travis thinks it is, and what they think it is, because then you're gonna have a hot mess.
Mhm.
That's my opinion anyway, so, at least if it's on paper, you can say, you know, you voted for it, this was the mission goal. When you were appointed, this is what you read,
Mhm. I agree.
you know, now you're talking about concession stands, we want you to concentrate on, right, you follow me?
Yeah.
That's what I want on paper.
Does anybody have a strong opinion on the number of people on this board?
I think you're gonna have to have at least 7. Cause not everybody's gonna make it to a meeting. That's my opinion, I think you need at least 7.
Harrisburg has 5 to 9.
Say again?
Harrisburg has 5 to 9.
5 to 9?
He has a max of 9. Woolwich has 7 members.
Okay. Okay.
I think you'd almost have to, if you had 7 people and you just stayed in the bylaws that it's a simple majority of those present, not that you need 4 of the 7 at a meeting to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
If only 4 show up, you need 3,
Mm-hmm.
that type of deal,
Mm-hmm.
so.
All right, we're gonna keep working on it then.
Especially summertime, people are busy in summertime.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I always come back to with this is it's a board or a position or in my opinion, a public employee we don't have. Park, someone like specifically in charge of parks, and I don't know how Craig feels about thinking about adding staff in that vein, with that focus, with, you know, the stuff we discussed about the softball games coming up and stuff, but just something that I foresee being perhaps a need, we could get in front of. Just a thought.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? All right. If not, we'll move down to, I wanna mention one thing I was gonna mention in our Teresa's report, just a reminder, joint jurisdiction meeting. Second one is a week from today.
I'm gonna be gone.
Week from today. Are we gone? Think you'll be gone, if I remember right? Yep. Not gonna be there? Okay. Haven't heard as much chatter, so I don't expect as many people there, but, you know, you don't know what to expect. Haven't heard from county commissioners, I assume we're gonna get pretty good attendance from county commissioners, but I don't know that for sure. I think this time around, we address, Teresa and I are gonna have a pre-meeting to it, but I think we just address some of the major issues that came up the last time. Talk about them, go through them, say, hey, you know what, here's some of the things that came up last time. Here's what this looks like, here's what that looks like. And catch a feel for what's going on in the room. I think the best thing we can do too is if there's county commissioners there, is we sit down and talk to them and say, hey, what is your inclination on this? And, because if they're not interested at all, then I think we wrap it up. Yep. Yep. So, but that's a week from tonight, over here at the Legion, same thing. Same format for the most part.
What time, 7?
7.
Yep. Yep. Then the other thing, we've got discussion of community engagement meeting, which has now been named the Go Hartford Community Summit. So it's Community Summit. I'll give you a little bit of background on what this looks like. This meeting was designed to be a chance for public to come in, find out more about what's going on in different areas of town. So we're gonna have, shoot, I don't know if I have my notes here, but we're gonna have basically, it's an open house style. We're gonna have tables with different topics. One table's gonna be for quality of life, so talking a lot about, hey, what's happening, and we're gonna have a table host, right? One's gonna be quality of life, talking a lot about what's going on with our parks, what's happening with this. We're gonna have one specifically for taxes. Hey, what's going on with my taxes? How is it broken out? What's the county? What's the city? What's the school? What's the mill levy done? What are some of those kind of things? Another one's gonna be for economic development. What kinds of things are happening there? Obviously Jesse will be leading that table there. We have another one. We have notes here.
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure? Yes, infrastructure, thank you.
Goals. Public safety and planning.
Right in there?
42 of our package.
Oh, perfect, thank you. Page 42 of our packet. everyone.
The date's wrong on it, but that's, other than that, it's all right.
Saw that.
The 24th is this Friday, right?
It's February.
February.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be
February.
Yep. Yep. Quality of life, goals of the city, short and long term, infrastructure, wastewater treatment. And you should see some of your names behind those if you go to page 24. We're gonna ask you, so you kind of see it on there. If you haven't been asked already, we're gonna ask you. Public safety and planning and joint jurisdiction in there. So, main piece of it is it's, we're not gonna be preaching to the people. It's more of a chance for people to come in. If they're interested in two of those topics, they can go talk to two of those tables. That's it, you know. It's at the city, or at the school, in the open commons area where they have lunch there at the high school. And 7 o'clock that night. There's already a social media event out. We do plan on printing up invitations to send to Hartford residents. So probably a cost of right around $400 there for mailing. And then there's gonna be a cost for printing those too. I'm thinking it's gonna be less than $1,000 that we'll spend on that. Not planning on food except for maybe some cookies and coffee and juice and stuff like that.
Is that this Friday or is that next month?
That's next month. Next
The
month.
date's wrong.
The date's right.
Yep,
Yeah, I was-
February 25th.
Yeah, that's what we're
I was like,
Yep. Nope, February 24th.
That's what I thought. Well, I get to be with Scott, so I'm kinda happy about that. Yeah.
So that's felt the same way, buddy.
So, alright, any questions on that?
We're gonna have that broke down in the mailing of these different things. or
We
how?
do, yep, having those topics in there and all of that, yep. And we do plan on having, a pre-meeting, just a discussion, basically to go through and say, okay, so for table hosts, I'll just pick on quality of life and say, okay, Arden Scott and Troy Larson. Are you guys listening?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So on this piece,
Yeah.
Arden Scott and Troy Larson, we're gonna have a pre-meeting set up to go through and be able to say, okay, here's some of the things you need. What do you need for materials? Do you want some printouts? Do you need some of this? Do you need some of that? What do you wanna be able to talk about? What do you think your questions are gonna be? Alright, next subject, goals of the city, short and long term. Me and Brittany, we're gonna probably use CIP type stuff and look through that, but we're gonna have to make sure we prep for that in February. So. Alright, I've talked enough. Have any more questions on those?
I was just gonna say, if you need, you know, you mentioned CIP stuff or the infrastructure stuff for that, I mean, we've got some graphics that we can all put together on big boards or things like that, just to kind of have at certain booths or whatever.
Be able to show for some of that?
Yeah, we can sure help with designing some graphics and stuff.
Man.
Okay. Thank you, Mitch. And I believe You and Jeff plan on being there
Yeah,
as well.
we're planning to be there, yeah.
Yep, great, thank you. Alright. New business. We got approval to surplus all updated meter heads. Outdated meter heads, really.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Since we're switching over to Verizon Read, these other ones, the batteries are getting weak in them, they're worth absolutely nothing to any town or anything like that, and they're basically just junk, they're all plastic, except for the batteries in them. And I don't know if we're I'll have to look into it, see if we can just dispose of them or what we gotta do with that portion of it, so.
Sure. This is an ongoing surplus piece,
Yeah.
so that we can just not talk about it you can surplus as you go through them.
Yeah, we've done about 30 so far, that we've gotten in boxes now at the shop, and then we're looking at 200 this year, that we're pushing for. And then next year, whether we do 200, 300, or whatever, so it's gonna take 5 to 10 years before we get rid of them all, switch them all, so.
Need a motion for that? I'd make a motion to approve the, ability to surplus the outdated meter heads
Presented.
as it happens, or as presented.
Second. Alright, discussion. Vote. Keel?
Yes.
Flanagan?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Brennan?
Yeah.
Monahan?
Yeah.
Jones?
Yes.
Alright.
I have one other new item. Did you talk to Mitch or get a chance? We're supposed to line up
I haven't, no, I haven't. We need to talk about, if you got it off the top of your head, go ahead and say it.
well, one of the things the Sports and Rec Committee asked us is, can we have a quick meeting with Mitch to talk about the concession stand plans and what we're gonna do? And they would like to do that, is it next meeting, right beforehand? Was it 6 o'clock on the next meeting, first meeting in February?
I believe it was. Yep.
Will that work for you, Mitch?
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
And any of the council, if any of you guys wanna come and sit in, you sure can, but we'll, I would assume it'll be, Matt Evans, Mike Schultz, BJ was there, yeah. So there'll be 3 or 4 of those guys, cause now that they're doing this Chase Ace and they're starting to raise some money, they just wanna get some ideas and, you know, see where we're going with this thing.
You said that was the 4th, you said?
Yeah, it's whenever the first meeting in February.
Okay.
It'd be a Sunday night though, so it'd be the second, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, we wanna meet the night of the, didn't we wanna meet the night of council, right?
Meeting night.
That's, because we didn't want Mitch to have to make a,
That way Mitch can
Right.
stop
We don't
right
care.
there.
we didn't want Mitch to have to make a special event.
Okay.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, we're not gonna do it, we're not gonna do it Super Bowl
Probably not
Sunday.
that
It's
night.
whatever the first meeting in February.
Got it.
They set their meeting for Super Bowl Sunday.
No, they're the second, always the second week.
Alright, sounds good. Anything
So-
else?
Yeah, we'll make sure that Teresa or we'll send them guys a note to make sure they're here. Alright?
Alright, good, thank you.
I thought about that earlier when Mitch was giving his report, and I wanted
Alright, I think we're looking for a motion to go into executive session for legal and personnel.
So move.
to. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright,
See you, Randall.
thank you. Nice to see you.
Sure to look twice when you're backing up tonight. Put it back up in your last night with a slow tractor.
Just a little.
I called Larry.
Who's gonna do it?
Alright, we're in regular session.
Okay. I make a motion to, give all regular full-time employees and all your part-time employees a 3% cost of living raise
Effective.
effective January 1st of 2020.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You're done?
Can I start Brittany, do you have that wrote down so you can just give Karen that piece of paper when we're done?
Yeah,
Okay,
I do.
Oh,
so
okay,
she doesn't have to try to,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so, but for the deal,
Okay.
yep,
Yeah.
alright,
Alright, I make a motion, to give the following employees a merit increase as well on top of the cost of living. Paul Clark, a 2%, Jesse Fonkert, 6%, Terry, 6%, Neil, 2%, Rhonda, 1%, Jesse O'Kane, 2%, Teresa, 6%, Brian, 0%, Craig, 4%, and Karen, 6%.
second,
All effective
yeah.
January 1st of
Excuse me.
2020.
still second.
Discussion. We'll vote. Nelson?
Yes.
Lanzer?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Brendan?
Yeah.
Jones?
Yes.
And Ryan.
yeah.
Alright. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.